And we're live. It's Capri, Ash, and Gamache. This is the Check-In Show, episode 14.
Hey!
Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, first off, guys, it's great to see both of you here. Last week, we lost Claudio.
We didn't lose him. We sort of like misplaced him.
We lost him for the week. We know we knew exactly where he was. Claudio went to the hospital because he's been having some medical issues. He's the youngest one of us, so we've been kidding him about the fact that he's the youngest and thus he should be. He's closest to still being under warranty than all of us. And but he did end up having to go get checked into the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And Claudio, you were diagnosed with something that's kind of be sort of life-changing.
Yes, I am. And before I continue,
Not going to tell us what it is, but
yeah, I was going to say thanks for that. And I've been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So I mean, it's. I'm not going to die from this, but it is, it's part of my life. I just got to, do a lot of life changes, as in, watch what I eat, take my medicine, and just do exercises and just, and also like stress level, because the doctors were, because the doctors are also saying that, it's also cause of stress as well.
Yes.
So I'm trying to maintain everything, but I'm still me. I'm still going to be doing comedy. I'm still going to be that annoying guy.
Picture Claudio not stressed. That's not you.
It's like, hey guys,
that is not you.
No,
you are looking healthier. First off, we got to mention you are
Yes.
looking healthier. For those of you who are watching, wish Claudio the best because He's discovered something that has kind of been holding him back that he didn't know that was holding him back, and now it's no longer going to hold him back. So we're wishing the best, and anyone watching, press like. We already got likes.
Yeah,
all right, but wish Claudio. Just
Claudio
type something
the best,
in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, and Claudio, part of lowering your stress is now being aware of what's happening to you, and now being in control of what's happening to you. So that's going to bring things down a little bit because you were actually freaking out on a couple of occasions. I had to talk you down there.
Yeah, exactly. But now, like with the blood sugars, right? Because there's it's for diabetics, it's 4 to 7, and so now it's ranging. Like it could sometimes go to 10, sometimes 11.
My sis sends her regards and she good wishes to you.
Thank you, Lise.
Her daughter, my goddaughter, also has type 1.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's tough, but you know what? It's but it's the blood sugars because it's not stable.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes up. So like this morning was at 10. Now it's at 8. Last night was for dinner was at 6. And when I went to bed it was 13. So it's varies. So that's where it kind of I have to get used to. Don't panic. So that's where I'm in.
Don't panic.
Absolutely don't panic.
But yeah, so I have to. That's where I have to like tell myself it's going to be okay. Because if it's over 20, then
I saw something the other day. Actually, speaking of diabetics and stuff like that, that as not long ago as 60 or 70 years ago, children who developed diabetes like this were often they were like hospitalized and they were in comas, and there was very very little they could do for them at the time until some guy. The guys who developed insulin came along, Banting and Best, and I recall where there was a ward of children and their families, and they were all sort of like essentially, when you slip into a diabetic coma at that time, you were one step away from death. So they were all sort of like sitting in these wards, waiting for their children to die. Basically.
So,
And these Banting and Best people came to this ward and they started injecting the kids with insulin, and one by one the kids would wake up and it was a medical miracle for them, but it was just this is what happens when medical science and medicine do the research and develop things, and then what was a life-threatening disease, practically a death sentence, suddenly becomes manageable.
Well,
If I can just
Yes.
interject. Sorry, I think only one of them was Canadian,
Yes.
and they did patent insulin,
Yes.
but they thought it should be for everybody, so they sold it for $1. They sold the patent for $1, and now though the modern drug companies
Yes. Of course.
are doing little tweaks to it every couple years to repatent it. So it's slightly different,
Yeah.
but it's still basically the same thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's which and that's why the prices of it is a little bit bad. Now, Claudio, I want to ask you this question because
Sure.
we were talking about your stress level, and
Yes.
also because you knew that something wasn't right for a while.
Mhm.
Can you give us a list of the different things you thought you had? 'Cause you had quite the list.
You had
I
a
mean,
list.
I
Yeah.
had a list.
Everything except
Okay.
for like ovarian cancer, I think, was on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, the C word.
Yes. Of course.
The C word was on my list.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, that was the biggest one I could remember. to
Yeah,
be
but you
honest
also
with
you also thought you had heart issues. You had
Oh,
you were feeling pain in your liver, which of course is a side effect of diabetes.
Yeah,
It does affect your liver because that's where you metabolize stuff. So yeah, you were all over the map.
I was all over the map. Now I'm like I'm semi over the
Yeah.
map.
Okay.
So it was a lot. It was.
Well, you're no longer just trying to just rumble through the jungle. You're actually got some a direction now. So.
Exactly.
It's one of the This is one of the things. It's the Canadian healthcare system. Claudia, do you have a family doctor?
I got one as of Friday. Yes.
As of Friday. So this has led to you getting a family doctor. A lot of people point to the Canadian health system as being so great, but that's only in comparison to, say, the U.S. It's still very hard. I think it was about a year ago, so August 2019, I called in to try to get a family doctor. I was told I was put on a waiting list. I was told I'd hear by September 2020. Of course, 2020 happened.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard, but I was very much expressly told, don't call us again until we call you.
Right.
So
I've been
if I
on the
call
list
again. That would be putting me back at the bottom of the list.
I've been on the list for 4 years, Paul.
Okay.
Not to discourage you, but yeah, getting a family doctor in Quebec is really tough.
There were the nurses that were treating me at the hospital. They don't even have family doctors.
There you go.
And Claudio just cut the line. All he had to get was a bit of the beaties.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, I have now. I have a whole well, it's more of a neurological department.
Mhm.
So I mean,
Hold it. You have
You
a
went to
family
neuro?
department now?
no, not neuro. Where they check the body. I forgot the name. It's the. Oh my god!
That's body. That's
No, it's not neuro. I can't believe I said neuro. The name's not coming to me right now. But I'm
dietitian?
going. Yeah.
No.
The dietitian is one of them. So
Endocrinology?
yes.
Endocrinology.
There we go. Yes. So I'm going. So I have to go. I have to do a checkup with them, and they're gonna
Yeah.
probably gonna take me off insulin, and they're gonna put me on pills.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to. I don't want to hope that. So if I have to continue,
whichever delivery system they finally settle on you, you're going to be with it for
exactly.
for as long as you live, and you have to resign yourself to that. I personally, if I were diagnosed by diabetes and I'd had to inject myself, I hate injections, and I'd learn to do it. I'd learn to do it because it's
neither
necessary.
One of you have tattoos.
Neither of us have tattoos.
Nope. Okay.
But you know what? I prefer pills. If they give me an option, I'm like, I'm going for the pills.
We know you're a pillhead, Claudio. You're a pillhead. He's such a pill.
Yeah, he's a pill.
I actually almost killed a friend in high school.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is.
Do tell.
well, okay, I went to a fairly rural school. I've just
Mhm.
talked about that a lot.
Yes.
So we had a walkathon one spring, and we walked from the school to Martinique Beach, which is a beautiful white sand beach in Nova Scotia.
Mhm.
Water's a little bit colder than most stuff on the East Coast, but it's beautiful. So we walked there, and one of my friends, Hugh, athletic kind of guy, very thin, British parents, so he had a little
Mhm.
bit of an accent, but he was raised here.
Mhm.
He had to keep on stepping off to go take a leak, and we weren't really thinking anything of it.
Of course.
And Hugh. All right, Hugh was of my friends. He was the first one to get a license and a car,
Ah,
and that's a story for another day. Okay.
okay.
We get to Martinique Beach, and
Yeah.
of course there's the hot dog barbecue. The teachers have set up, and they've have that big, refreshment cooler, filled with the orange drink syrup that I think it was McDonald's would sell.
Right.
You mix it
Yeah.
with I
Right.
think it's 1 to 20 parts water that you mix it with. So Hugh has been lagging behind, which we should have thought of was weird because he's athletic kind of guy. He's a thin guy, right?
Right.
And he shows up. He goes there, and by the time he gets to go take a drink, he goes, "Is this where the drink is?" And we say, "Yeah." He goes up, and it's empty. So he sees the jug of syrup beside it, and he goes, "Is this the drink?" And we say, "Yeah, yeah, it is, Hugh." So he pours himself a glass.
Oh my
Drinks that.
God. Oh my God. He must have spiked his blood sugar like nobody's business.
So he was going, "Oh, that's just making me thirstier." We go, "No, you're supposed to mix that with water," but we were kind of laughing at it. And then he went and started drinking water right from the hose because we were country kids. And that night he said goodnight to his parents, and took 2 steps and passed out. Went into a diabetic coma.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yep. Still alive today, living in Ottawa.
Good. Good to hear.
He did. I think it was slightly involved a girl. He got a little depressed in university and stopped. Wasn't really managing his insulin as well as he was managing his alcohol intake.
Oh God. Yeah.
And woke up one day blind.
Ooh.
But he did recover from that. He did get his sight back. So.
Okay.
The body is a very resilient thing, Claudio. So all
But
that
you-
stuff happened
yeah.
to him, which is more extreme than what has happened to you so far. So, but he has bounced back, and he's living healthy. He was actually offered to be one of the people to do the trial for the pills on, and he said, "No, I don't want to be a guinea pig." But now,
Can you blame him, really?
This is done. So he's healthy nowadays, and so power to him and power to you, Claudio. This
Yes.
is a
Thank
very
you.
Depressing story. Can I make a funny story then?
Yes. Let's
Sure.
make a funny story.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So Hugh was the first one to get a car.
Right.
Which was great, and but he had like a Volkswagen Beetle, like his dad's
Oh.
Volkswagen Beetle that he would drive.
Those
he
were a blast, though.
He lived like I lived a half hour to 40 minutes outside of town. He lived another half hour past me, and so I was at my friend Tim's place, and we were all planning. It was the weekend. We were going to go into the city because country boys.
Yeah.
And Tim gets off the phone. He says, "Oh, great. Hugh's coming to pick us over." Now, Tim's father, he was from a fishing village kind of place, so he had a little bit more of a pronounced Nova Scotian accent than I do, and he also was a. I don't know. He just didn't deal with stress well. So
Okay.
he was
high strung.
He got angry very quickly.
Okay.
I've never seen him be violent, but he was like he'd be very scary to a bunch of teenage boys.
Right.
And so Tim's bedroom was in the basement, and there was just a curtain for the door. So the curtain pushes aside, and we hear Hugh's coming over. We said, "Yep." There's a pause, and he looked at all of us. Who's coming over? And we're trying to figure out why he dislikes Hugh so badly.
Mm-hmm.
And we go, yeah, he is. Like, but he's just stopping to pick us up, and we're going to go into town. Who's coming over? He was saying Hugh. He wasn't saying Hugh. He was saying who.
Who's coming over?
Who's coming over? just the escalation of anger. Because he thought we were mocking him for some reason. It's like we were
Who's on first?
Who's on first?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I apologize for that to this day. I mean, literally, we were trying to crawl out the basement windows to get away from how red your face went. It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But Volkswagen Beetles were a hoot. They were a hoot, except in very, very cold weather, because they had the crappiest heaters on those things.
We've got more people tuning in. Just come
Excellent.
in and say hi if you want something to talk about. Welcome Claudio back. Claudio has spent like half a week in the hospital.
Yeah.
So come in, say hi. If you want us to talk about something, come on. Tell us about
it. Do let us know.
We do want to talk about what Legault talked about earlier today.
Yes.
As well, because this is a health and wellness kind of thing.
Yes, it is. It is. And apart from Claudio and his physical issues, we're all still, dealing with what's the situation we all find ourselves in, which is this pandemic, and we're still all trying to muddle through it as best we can. So let us know what you'd like us to address, and how you are dealing with it, and then we'll talk. We'll talk.
Yep.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Muddle. So, Mike, there was something that you had to get off your chest about the Volkswagen Beetle.
No, I just said they had these little gas heaters because of the air cooled engine on those things. They didn't have a radiator, so they didn't have any coolant to bring into the cabin and then run a fan through and take the heat from the coolant and put it into the cabin to warm the passengers. So what they did have instead was a little gas fueled heater core that was under the car, and that if you didn't have, let's put it this way, it wasn't the most efficient. German engineering is great. This one they sort of blew up. They really blew, Anyways, the gas heater would sometimes malfunction and fill the car with carbon monoxide. Yay!
Yeah,
we're not commenting on German engineering.
No. Most German engineering I love. I think it's magnificent. But this one they screwed the pooch on.
There was one thing about that. It was an older Volkswagen Beetle. It had for the windshield washer fluid, it was like a little rubber bulb. So it you just push it. It was recessed.
That had to be early 60s. That had to be early 60s.
It was a classic one, but it's so much better than the ones today, because today you press a button and it comes out at the same pressure all the time. This one you could vary the pressure depending on your speed. Like if you needed to hit the bottom, or if you needed to hit the bottom of the windshield, if you need to hit the bottom, you just push it lightly. If you needed to hit the top, you push it quick, and it would spray up higher.
Whereas the newer ones, it's here's a gallon, here's half of your tank right off the bat. So parse it for the rest of the trip, because here it all is.
All right. So Premier Legault had a talk at 1:00 today to discuss new measures.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you guys thinking?
All right, I'll go last, so you both can.
Well, you actually are the one who watched it.
Yeah, you're the one who watched it. You're the one who was telling us about it.
The only thing I was watching throughout this whole thing was when he mentioned that the curfew is going to go from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So as of effective of this coming Monday, it's going to be at 9 p.m. That's the only thing I saw, and then the rest
in like 5 days.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? It's not like COVID's gonna be like, it's 9 o'clock. COVID's, Personally, look, I don't want to get too political here, but I think this is a scheme that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
you think he chose Do you think he chose 7 o'clock because it's 19 o'clock? Say 19 heures. Do you think that's why it's COVID-19? So I'll put the time at 7 o'clock.
Seven. Hold it. Well, I thought you were saying it was going to 9:30.
Yes, it's going to 9:30, but when he
But
first
it's
brought it in,
8 o'clock now. Yeah.
Oh,
But-
I see. Yeah, Mike, I see what you're saying.
I understand what Mike is saying, but
Yeah.
it's like I never remembered it being at 7. That's all.
well, I think wasn't it the first one was 7, then he moved it to 8, and then he
Yeah.
moved it to 9:30.
Yeah, no. The ideas were either 7:30 or 8, but people were revolted when they said 7:30.
Yeah,
So 8
he
o'clock
gave him
was.
an extra hour, and then
Yeah.
yeah, because of time shift and all that. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, actually, something really. When I was in the hospital, I was the only one in my room. I didn't have anyone else, but from time to time, I was allowed to go outside to get some fresh air.
That's great.
And then I go outside, and then I just hear police sirens after police sirens, and I'm like, probably tickets, because there were no ambulance, nothing. So I saw like a cop pulling over someone, and it was just what the heck was this? I'm like, and then also I saw a typical person in front of a hospital eating a Krispy Kreme box of 6 of Krispy Kremes, and I'm like, that's fantastic. That's what you want to do in life.
You felt you were being teased. Okay.
Yeah, you're being teased.
Yeah, that too.
Well, maybe he had that box of Krispy Kremes because he was hoping to attract the police.
Oh, maybe, but then the police never came. I don't know.
They were too busy chasing guys, breaking curfew.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm taking a look online to see
Yes.
this right now. So, Premier Francis Legault announced the curfew in Montreal and Laval will be pushed back to 9:30 p.m. starting on Monday, giving the improving situation in the province's 2 largest cities. As well, elementary schools will open back up in Quebec City and Chaudière-Appalaches. Is that pronounced right?
Chaudière-Appalaches, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though secondary schools and some services, like in Beauce,
Beauce.
Beauce,
Basse.
Etchemin,
Okay.
Beauce.
It's BAU. That's
Beau.
Beauce with a C.
CE at the end.
That's Beauce. Yeah,
Beauce,
that's part
okay.
of Chaudière-Appalaches actually. So
All right,
weird.
those will remain closed given the level of spread in those communities. Here's
Okay.
the thing.
yes.
All right, the stats have come out previously about where the major transmission vectors are in Quebec. Number 1 is businesses. Number 2 is schools.
Yes.
The fact that they are opening schools is just ludicrous because it's on top of this. The kids go to school, they bring it home, they give it to their parents who are forced to go to work.
Not just that, Paul. The latest findings on the variants show that kids are being more and more affected by these variants, and they're getting sicker from these variants. So, I mean, if these variants are becoming the predominant strain of this virus, kids are not out of the woods here. And I read again just yesterday. I read that for the first time, there was an admission from BC that a very, very young child, like a baby, like a 1-year-old child, died of COVID back in January. So the fact that people say, "Oh, kids can't get this," or "Kids get this," and it's not a big deal. I think the people who believe that and who think that the schools and everything can just go back and send their kids to schools, I think there's going to be some unfortunate things happening in that respect.
The original study,
Yes.
the original study is based off of a report that came out of. This is true. I believe the name of the town is called Contagion in Switzerland. The town is called Contagion.
Called Contagion. Oh, excellent.
Basically, just as the lockdown kind of thing happened, a bunch of kids were on a school trip. They came back, and then when they got around to testing people in the town, there was only one person who was a kid who was on that trip caught it, and he was like 17 years old, and he had interacted with so many people, and no one had caught it off of him.
Okay.
So, based on that one case,
They thought
They,
children
they
wouldn't.
thought children were poor vectors.
Okay.
And that was something that propagated for a long time.
Yeah.
Now we have learned
Yes.
that is not necessarily the case,
Mhm.
and I believe it was the New York vector, the New York variant was the
Yes.
first one that got attributed to really sort of targeting children.
Mhm.
And this is information that's been around for a long while. Now,
Yeah.
Claudio, you said that Legault had a scheme. I don't think it's a scheme. I think he's just flying by the seat of his pants to try to
Yeah.
keep as many people who's paying him happy as possible, because business owners are the ones who are self-isolating fairly safely and all that. They're not having to worry about the disease, but they want to make sure their businesses keep making them money so they can keep living at the level they want. And thus it's the poor workers who are told, well, you go to work or you're getting fired, because we're removing the protections that you had to say that I don't feel safe at work,
Yeah.
I'm not going to work.
Yeah.
And so it's people at risk.
Mhm.
Now, on top of that, there's so much misinformation that is being spread about how contagious the disease is, and I'm personally erring on the side of caution, that I'm going for the more extremes. I'm wearing 2 masks when I'm outside, even if I'm not even within 10 feet of people, but it's the fact that so many people are thinking it's not. There was a place of worship had 350 people in it.
200.
Friday,
Yeah. 200.
250
300 people, something like that. Yeah. At a
on
Senate.
Friday
Yeah.
night. On
Yeah.
Friday
On a
night.
Friday night.
So that, I mean, and that's not the only kind of case of that. There was also somebody had a rager in Laval.
Yep.
So I mean, that we have the information about how contagious this is, and it's some people are frustrated. Some people are just at the point that they don't care anymore. But the fact that they're going out and they're doing this, they're going out and having these interactions with multiple people. They're not, having like any form of protection, like masks. They're not socially distancing. Is just going to prolong how long we have to
Of
do
course.
this,
Of
even
course.
with the vaccine.
Yep. In fact, one of the things that I find is lacking in the vaccine rollout and the government response and the different health agencies' response to this is that they have mentioned it. I've heard it, but they should really like shout this from the rooftops. Is that even if you're vaccinated, you can still contract COVID-19, and you can still transmit it. So just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can just doff that mask and go back to being in somebody's face and say to how everything is cool. I've got my vaccine. No, not at all. In fact, if you go back to what the regular your regular behavior, if you will, you're only going to make the vaccine irrelevant, and that's several steps backwards. So no, they should tell them you have to maintain these things until everybody, we've had most or everybody vaccinated, and we've got a handle on trying to control these variants and stuff. And it's all about transmission. And if you are vaccinated and you transmit the disease, that's not any better than somebody who got the disease, was asymptomatic, or even had full-blown symptoms and went out and spread it to other people. We're not any further ahead. You can't this in these types of epidemics and pandemics where things are exponential. One step forward, if you screw it up, can be several steps backwards, not just the one step backwards. It's not a shuffle, one forward, going back, one forward, but back. Every time it's screwed up, you screw up the measures, you can get a really big and negative effect.
At this point,
yes,
we've been over a half hour. Claudio, we haven't let you chat much. Welcome back.
Yes.
But at one point, I do want to point out something that somebody for whom COVID has been great for is StreamYard.
Yes, StreamYard
allowed us this chance to meet with friends without actually, interacting, or we can still socially distance, meet with our friends, as well as be able to broadcast ourselves online. It is a great and simple tool. There's a free version out there. I've got my mug, I've got my T-shirt, I've got my pillow. So StreamYard, thank you very
So
much.
you're a
for allowing us to
StreamYard
join.
slut.
Damn straight. I'd
Yay!
like to be a
Yay,
StreamYard.
StreamYard!
I'd like to sell out, but unfortunately, no one's buying.
Hey,
So a StreamYard, if you want, you can always send me a message, and I'll with your email, I'll send that to StreamYard, and that way, if you do decide to pay, I'll get a free month. And,
yes.
But either way, you can be using that link to check out the free version. I even have private conversations with my family in Nova Scotia. We don't need to broadcast, but it's a chance for all of us to be on screen and chatting together.
Excellent.
A lot of people watching, actually, so thank you very much for watching. Give a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the like button. And before we log off, say a little hello, and especially a welcome back to Claudio.
Yes.
The ever silent Claudio. What Claudio? Mike, let's give Claudio. Claudio, what is your thoughts for the week? And that's our time.
There we go.
Such a deep thinker. My God, I didn't think he'd ever shut up.
I was just imagining, the monkeys with the clappers is going around.
Homer Simpson moment, huh?
Exactly. Everybody has that Homer Simpson moment,
But how are you feeling? I mean, we've gotten you back now. You have the Tribune. Let us know, what is it that you? Because this has been, like we said earlier, this has been a life-changing event for you.
Yes,
this is also your third podcast since you've been out of the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah. No, honestly, I'm feeling like, obviously so yesterday I've been feeling tired because I'm supposed to have a lot of proteins, right? So either by tuna or meat. So I didn't have my proteins for lunch yesterday. So I'm like, why am I feeling tired? And I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't have my proteins. But no, honestly, I feel fine. Obviously better than last week. So and I'm grateful that I'm not going to be dying, knock on wood. I'm not going to be dying from this. I'm grateful that I could resolve this. Yes, it is a life, not life threatening, but it's part of my life.
Life altering, right?
Exactly. So so that means when restaurants open up, I have to be really careful. And then I have to bring my equipment. So when we hang out, I have to bring my stuff with me, my insulins, my
watch your alcohol intake.
I'm not drinking.
No more.
No more. I cut it. I mean, I was not much of a drinker, but I'm saying no to alcohol.
Okay.
So I'm doing that.
At this point, look, you're a good Italian boy. Like, you didn't get your meat for lunch yesterday. What does your mom not have? Like, calabrese doesn't have
yes,
salami,
exactly.
Any of these?
No prosciutto,
no.
You have a canteen. You have a canteen in the basement, a nice cold storage room.
Yes,
we have to.
It's gonna be filled with hanging meats.
Come on.
No, I threw all those away.
Oh my God.
I can't have those anymore. I can't have cold meats anymore. Let's say deli meats. I cannot have deli meats anymore.
No.
Nope. High in salt. I can't.
Too much salt, huh?
I threw them all away this morning. So what I did is I took a.
Did you tell your mom first? Like, did you offer it to friends? Like,
friends or your sisters?
Like, seriously, I mean, my head is pretty swollen.
Yes.
A little bit more salt probably wouldn't be a good thing for me. But I mean,
that's all we had. But then the rest were just like. So I'm an idiot because I drank juice. A lot of So I'm like no.
But you see, what was happening there is, of course, is because you were feeling like there was an imbalance in your system, and you may have been craving sugar. That happens with diabetics. They crave sugar when their insulin spikes, because you're riding the roller coaster. So
yeah. So I threw I just did a big I did a cleaning in our fridge, so I'm like I can't. I remember because when I was sick, I thought Gatorade was the answer.
Ooh.
So I
Oh,
threw those away. The boosts, I'm like I can't. The ginger ales, I threw them all away. I'm just sticking with water for now. I mean, water is the only way to go. I can't do anything else. I mean, plus water, it's actually pretty. It's water. I mean, there's no.
It's the ultimate in rehydration.
Exactly. So I'm sticking with that. Then I remember I bought like 3 Coors Light cans of beers, and I'm like, so I threw it all. I threw it all away. I'm like, I can't touch wine again. So I'm like, all right, well.
So you won't be tasting my limoncello, unfortunately.
I know. I want to, but I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, I know. Hey, look, you're in control of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
This is your life. This is what it is now, and just you have to modify it accordingly and deal with it.
I don't want you both. By the way, I don't want people to if we're hanging out. I don't want them to feel guilty if we're going out to a restaurant. That's what I want. I don't want people to feel guilty because I can't have it. Doesn't mean you should have it too. Should not have it either. So I don't want people feeling guilty. I told everyone that, and they're like, and they understand. So I'm saying it to you both too. So I'm like, don't feel guilty when you have to eat around me. I'm not gonna feel bad.
Doubling up on the ice cream sundae.
Exactly. And if you're
Claudio, I was raised Catholic, so I feel guilty when I eat anyways.
Yes,
so
right.
You're not going to change that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
all right.
I'll be but if one of you is eating like a really big portion of a double fudge sundaes, I'll be like, are you sure you're gonna? I can't have it. But
suicide by diet is a valid method.
Exactly.
Sorry, just to put this, because Claudio had no idea who this person was.
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I've had diabetes for about 20 years. I stay active and I feel pretty good most of the time. See, I do a few simple things now. I'm not perfect, but I try and watch my diet and exercise, and I check my blood sugar. And I get all my diabetic testing supplies from Liberty Medical. If you're 65 or over and on Medicare, call Liberty. They can help you live a better life.
Man, he looks like he's going to
Hundreds
pass
of
out.
people trust Liberty. They're the...
The irony in all of that is that Wilford Brimley was playing guys in his 60s when he was in his 30s. Because he always had white hair and he always looked much older than he really was. Because in that commercial there, I'm pretty sure in that commercial there, he was in his early 50s.
He was in Seinfeld. He played because Kramer didn't want Mill anymore. And then the postal
inspector
clerks, he played the inspector. He goes up to Kramer and goes, "We all want our mail, Mr. Kramer. I'm a very busy. Do you know what I do for a living, Mr. Kramer?" And then Kramer's like, "Okay, you'll get our mail when the mail arrives. Yes, that's a good person you want, Mr. Kramer." And then I'm like, "Wow, this guy's amazing."
I can't imagine, I've thought of him always as an older actor, but I just had to check. He died just last year.
Yeah.
But he was born 1934.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he played in Cocoon, he played a retiree in Cocoon, and he was in his early 40s.
Cocoon was 1988, so he would have been 54 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
So he wasn't in his 40s. He was in his mid 50s.
Okay. But he always looked much older than he was playing guys who were in their 70s, and he was in mid 50s, But he always had and he had that voice, he had that gravitas,
And so many people, I even sort of mocked it a little bit earlier with calling it the beaties. Diabetes.
Diabetes. Yeah, diabetes.
The diabetes crew.
Yeah.
Weird way of saying it. So he was born in Salt Lake City.
Oh.
He probably had a lot of salt in his diet. No,
probably. Probably. Yeah, he was probably pickled.
It's a dry town. It was. A dry
It's a very
town,
dry
so-
town. No, but I mean, pickled and brine.
Yeah.
It was a kosher dill.
Well, I mean,
Are
kosher.
you, hold on. Are you sure he was circumcised? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No, I don't know that for sure.
What are you?
Don't quote
what are
me
you
on this.
saying,
But I'm saying
Mike?
kosher,
That-
kosher
That was a
dickles
very
are
different
brine,
Wilford
so
Brimley video search that you just did.
yeah.
Just checking to see if his
It's
dill
okay,
is kosher.
Mike. We just want you to know that whatever secrets you
truth.
share with us, yeah.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
You're just sharing it with us.
No, I
friends,
have never
no matter
seen.
your
I have
orientation.
never seen Wilford Brimley's pickle.
All right. Yeah, he was in The Thing with John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
another thing. So
Yeah.
another thing. That's not like that. Why did they not name the sequel that Another Thing?
Another thing, and another thing.
but hold on. The
That's the
remake.
third one.
That's the third one. Yet another
Yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah. There were. Oh, I forgot about
no,
the other ones.
there was the prequel,
Yes.
which was sort of no
Huh?
one knew it was a prequel until they
I know.
watched the end of the film.
Right.
So
Yeah. It was.
Is this a thing?
Yeah. No. It was.
that one takes place in New York.
Yeah, I guess.
God.
All right. Wow, he still has a film waiting to come out.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Cocoon, the sequel.
No, it's called Cellophane.
Okay.
It's actually listed as being in pre-production, so I don't. That means they probably haven't filmed his scenes yet,
Oh.
Oh.
which is
Or they probably have and probably cut him out.
yeah. There's only 2 cast members listed, so this is probably not going to happen.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it's still there. All right. So we've been at this for close to 45 minutes. It's been a pleasure checking in with you guys.
Yeah.
I do hope you enjoy your days, Claudio. I'm very happy that
Yes.
you're feeling
Thank
better,
you.
and I want
We
you
are
to
both
keep continuing
overjoyed
that.
that you're back on.
I support you on that entirely.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot.
And I want to thank everybody for who's tuned in and watching. It's, if you're not going to interact or come out wondering why, but this is our check-in with each other and with you. Occasionally we bring other people onto the screen as well if they're active in the chat and want to. But it's the end of the show.
Yep.
Cheers. Be well,
Yep.
everyone.
Yep.
Wear your mask. Wash your hands.
Yep.
and
Please
See you all
do.
next
be
week.
kind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be kind for sure.